And So, Notes on the Bible and Religion. Episode 7. The Rainbow, a Beautiful, Dangerous Sign. Have you seen any of those YouTube videos in which a person with red-green deficiency, color blindness, is given a special pair of glasses that can help them see more colors? Often, the person's eyes well with tears upon seeing colors that, until then, were unseen. I remember one youth putting the glasses on and asking as he started to sob, "Is this what the world looks like?" Another pointed to something pink and asked in sudden wonder, "What color is this?" Imagine someone seeing a rainbow's glorious spectrum of color for the first time. What a heavenly sight! Chapters 6 through 9 of Genesis, the first book of the Bible, is sometimes called the flood narrative. In this story of Noah's Ark, a flood destroys the world population, although Noah, his extended family, and mating pairs of all the critters of the earth are saved. A rainbow appears in the sky as the sign of God's covenant with Noah that never again will the entire world be destroyed by flood. Genesis 9, 7 through 17. What a pretty thing for a sign. A water and sunlight symbol that a global deluge never need be feared. But there is more to this sign than might meet the eye. In biblical Hebrew, the language of the Old Testament, the word kesheth is used both for rainbow and for bow, as in bow and arrow. This bow is the sign of the covenant. Covenant is another word for treaty. And in the ancient world, like today, treaties were used to establish the expected behaviors among treaty members and the consequences if those behaviors were not carried out. That is, what would happen if the treaty were to be broken. In the ancient Near East, from which this story emerged, the sign of the treaty often included the ritual destruction of animal life. We know this from numerous Assyrian and Aramaic texts from over 2,600 years ago. We also have evidence of this in the Bible. See, for example, Genesis 15, 7 through 19, Genesis 17, 11, Exodus 24, 5 through 8. Compare also Matthew 26, 26 through 28. The sign became a threat of death, a warning not to break the covenant. Consider again the bow of the flood narrative. Who is threatened if God breaks his promise never to destroy the whole earth through flood? If an arrow were to be shot from that bow, where would it go? Not toward the earth. An arrow placed in the bow would point to the heavens, to the very place that the ancients understood God to reside. The consequences appear dire for God if he were to destroy the world through flood again. And so, by the end of the flood narrative, we have one story among many in the Bible in which God is portrayed as limiting his own freedom and power so that his creation might be preserved. Beautiful. Something to think about. Would you rather not be able to see or not be able to hear? I've heard from some older folks that they'd rather lose their vision than their hearing because they would miss the conversation of company. I've also seen posts by some younger people clearly preferring the loss of hearing rather than sight, sometimes with the explanation that today so much information is communicated visually. What makes something beautiful? What is the most beautiful thing you have ever seen? What made it beautiful? Print and ebook editions of And So, Notes on the Bible and Religion are available on Amazon. More information on my work may be found at jasoncdykhouse.com.